In 1834, fire tore through the Houses of Parliament and burned the heart of London's government to the ground in a single night. What rose from the ashes became one of the most photographed buildings on Earth. And that fire isn't even close to the strangest thing buried in this country's history. This is England, a country with a beach that swallows ships, a lake bed sitting below sea level, and a hill holding a gemstone found nowhere else on the planet. 30 facts, and I promise, most of them, even the British don't know. Fact 30. Stonehenge's smaller bluestones weren't quarried nearby. They were dragged, floated, and hauled roughly 150 miles from the Chesil Hills in Wales, using nothing but Neolithic technology. Nobody has ever fully explained why anyone would go to that trouble. Fact 29. Chesil Beach in Dorset stretches 18 miles, and its pebbles quietly sort themselves by size along the way, largest at one end, smallest at the other. Fishermen used to be able to tell exactly where they'd landed at night, just by feeling the stones under their boots. Fact 28. Near Avebury sits Silbury Hill, the largest prehistoric human-made mound in all of Europe. It took millions of hours of hand labor to build, using nothing but antler picks and baskets. No burial has ever been found inside it. Nobody knows what it was for. Fact 27. HMS Victory, docked in Portsmouth, is the oldest commissioned warship still in service anywhere on Earth. She's over 260 years old, she still has an active crew, and she's still, technically, ready to sail. Fact 26. The Uffington White Horse is the oldest chalk hill figure in Britain, cut into a hillside roughly 3,000 years ago. It stayed white for 3 millennia only because locals have hand-scoured it clean, generation after generation, for the entire span of its existence. Fact 25. In 1779, the world's first cast-iron bridge went up over a gorge in Shropshire. It's still standing today. The Industrial Revolution effectively has an address, and it's Ironbridge. Fact 24. In 1939, a man digging into a burial mound in Suffolk uncovered the ghost of an entire ship. The wood had rotted away completely, but its shape remained pressed into the sand, along with a king's worth of Anglo-Saxon treasure. Sutton Hoo rewrote what historians thought they knew about early England overnight. Fact 23. Beneath a Yorkshire hillside is gaping Gill, the largest underground chamber naturally open to the surface anywhere in Britain. It's big enough to fit St. Paul's Cathedral inside it, with room to spare. A 100-meter waterfall crashes straight down into the darkness. Fact 22. For centuries, everyone assumed the Cerne Abbas giant, a hillside carving of a naked man wielding a club, was ancient. Then scientists dated the soil beneath it. Turns out it's medieval, carved sometime between 700 and 1100 AD. An entire assumption about English history quietly overturned by dirt. Fact 21. In 1951, the Peak District became Britain's very first national park. It beat the Lake District to the title by only a few weeks. The whole idea of protecting British landscape by law started here, in a place ringed by industrial cities. Fact 20. England only has 2 human hill figures left standing. The other one, besides the giant, is the Long Man of Wilmington in Sussex, a faceless outline holding 2 staffs. Nobody agrees on what he's holding, why he's there, or how old he actually is. Fact 19. Beachy Head in Sussex is the highest chalk sea cliff in Britain, rising 162 meters straight out of the English Channel. It's made of the same ancient compressed sea creature skeletons as the White Cliffs, just stacked higher. Fact 18. Sherwood Forest's major oak is believed to be somewhere between 800 and 1,000 years old, and legend ties it to Robin Hood himself. In 2026, after centuries of visitors compacting the soil around its roots, conservationists confirmed the tree had finally died. 1,000 years, gone in one failed spring. Fact 17. Just up the road from Stonehenge sits Avebury, and it's actually bigger. It's the largest stone circle on Earth, so large that an entire village sits inside it. People live their whole lives inside a 5,000-year-old monument and just call it home. Fact 16. When it opened in 1981, the Humber Bridge was the longest single-span suspension bridge on the entire planet. It held that record for 16 years. You can still walk or cycle across it for free, longer than any other bridge of its kind in the world. Fact 15. Malham Cove in Yorkshire is a massive natural limestone amphitheater, curved like the inside of a bowl. At its top sits a flat limestone pavement so eerie and otherworldly that filmmakers keep coming back to shoot it. Fact 14. St. Paul's Cathedral wasn't built from ordinary stone. It's Portland stone, quarried from a single peninsula on the Dorset coast, prized for staying bright white for centuries. Half of London's most famous buildings are quietly made from the same small patch of ground. Fact 13. On a beach in Formby, ancient human and animal footprints occasionally surface in the mud, pressed thousands of years ago and only briefly exposed before the tide buries them again. They appear, get studied, and vanish, sometimes within days. Fact 12. The Eden Project in Cornwall, with its giant biome domes, was built inside a dead China clay quarry. What used to be a hole in the ground, scraped bare by industry, is now home to the largest indoor rainforest on Earth. Fact 11. Devil's Dyke in Sussex is one of the largest natural chalk valleys in Britain, a mile-long gash carved into the South Downs. Legend says the devil dug it in one furious night, trying to flood every church in the county. Fact 10. Durdle Door, on the Jurassic coast, is a natural limestone arch, carved out by nothing but waves, hammering the same spot for thousands of years. Stand underneath it, and you're standing inside what used to be solid cliff. Fact 9. Jodrell Bank in Cheshire is home to one of the largest steerable radio telescopes on Earth, built on quiet farmland in the 1950s. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a piece of deep space science hiding in the middle of the English countryside. Fact 8. St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall is a small tidal island with a castle on top, connected to the mainland by a stone causeway that only appears when the tide goes out. Walk across at low tide, and you're crossing ground that will be underwater again. Fact 7. On the M1 motorway sits Watford Gap Services, and for decades, it's marked an invisible, half-joking line where the English North is said to begin. An entire cultural divide, symbolized by a motorway rest stop. Fact 6. Rutland is England's smallest historic county, so small you could walk across most of it in a single day. Locals have a saying, multa in parvo, much in little. Fact 5. The cliffs at the Naze in Essex are crumbling into the sea faster than almost anywhere else in the country, and as they fall, they expose 50-million-year-old fossils from a time when this coastline sat under a warm subtropical sea. Fact 4. Land's End is the westernmost point of mainland England, and it takes the full force of the Atlantic head-on. Storms here can be brutal enough that the coastline gets rearranged after a single bad winter. Fact 3. The entire Cotswolds region sits on the same belt of golden limestone, which is why every village there seems to glow the same honey color. It isn't paint or design, it's literally the same rock, quarried locally for 1,000 years. Fact 2. Chesil Beach isn't the only strange coastline England hides. The southern shore alone has swallowed entire medieval towns whole, like Dunwich in Suffolk, once a thriving port, now almost completely underwater, its church bells rumored to still ring beneath the waves during storms. And finally, Fact 1. In a cave above the town of Torquay, in 1927, excavators found a fragment of human jawbone. It turned out to be over 41,000 years old, the oldest modern human fossil ever found in Britain, and one of the oldest in all of northwestern Europe. Neanderthals were most likely still alive somewhere else on this same island when that jaw was still attached to someone eating dinner by firelight. Kent's Cavern has been inhabited, on and off, for over 500,000 years. 3 different species of humans sheltered inside those same walls. Whatever England is today, whatever accent, whatever flag, whatever castle gets photographed the most, this is where it actually started. In a dark cave, by a fire, 41,000 years ago. That's 30 facts, and we've barely scratched the surface. A vanishing tree, a sunken town, a jawbone older than memory itself, all buried inside a country most people think they've already figured out. If you're from England, or you've stood on any of this ground yourself, tell me what I missed. What's the one thing about your corner of the country that nobody outside it ever hears about? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Until the next one, take care of yourself, and God bless you all.